Welcome to the Occupational Safety Leadership Podcast, episode number 309. Before we get into it, I want to thank everybody for giving me their support this far. My goal, of course, is for people to profit from my pain, to be much better as a safety professional than I ever was. So, I'm trying to pass down as much knowledge. Some people may call it wisdom, some may not, but things that have worked for me. There's also a lot of episodes on things that have not worked for me too. So I certainly don't want people to uh, go down those roads as well. So please do everything you can to leave me a 5-star review. That really helps to get it out. My goal is to not make any money on this, just spread this knowledge and wisdom and everything I possibly can. I want all the safety professionals out there to be better than I was. So, and with that, let's get into today's episode. And this is going to be one reason why employees stop reporting near misses. And of course, for this one, I chose to focus on one. There's a lot of reasons out there. When we look at the different cultures that we have in the workplace, and of course, there's also going to be cultures. Um, about that people are bringing with them. I shouldn't say cultures. They're bringing a lot of experience, knowledge, and wisdom from other jobs, from life and all that stuff too. But let's just talk about the one reason, and uh, it really boils down to, for me, and this was a personal experience that I had, is just fear of reporting. So. Not to give everybody a long, boring story, but as a young man, probably at this point 35 years ago, one summer, I found myself looking for a job. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, why don't you come work with me at this ice cream factory?" I thought, "Ooh, that's going to be a lot of money." Now, of course, when you're young with no bills, that kind of stuff really is a lot of money. I only made it a week there. So to me, it was a nightmare place to work. And he gave me a nice warning too. Like he's like, "Oh, it's really tough and really awful to work there, but the money's awesome." So it wasn't like I went in blind to this thing. And this was prior to my safety days. I really didn't understand safety. I was still real young, all that good stuff then. I was only there just a couple hours, and we'd done the orientation, and they talk about reporting hazards, all that kind of stuff then. So I saw a near miss happen. So young lady was not wearing a hairnet, so she was by a piece of rotating machinery, and it only caught just a couple strands of her hair, luckily, and it just pulled that right out of her. She was like, "I'm not saying nothing." Me being brand new, I did say something then. And the amount of just crap I got for this was incredible. And all I could think is, but literally just a few hours ago, you guys said, report this. And now that I am, somehow I'm like the bad guy here in this thing. So long story short, I only made it in that job a week. I just hated it. And of course, it wasn't only the safety aspect. I didn't really like the folks there too. It just wasn't a good mesh. So I can't say that it was purely about safety because I wasn't even in safety at that point. I just knew that when they were going over all the safety stuff, I was like, hey, if you guys say it's important, well, I'm going to do it. Well, words didn't match the actions, you know. So what I quickly learned, and even the lady it happened to, even she said, "I'm not saying nothing about this," you know. And I was shocked because I was like, luckily it was only a couple of strands of hair. If it had really gotten a piece, well, that could have been really awful, of course. So, um, and that's what I learned right there from that one experience is that actions did not match the words. And in that case, of course, I can't say in all cases, but what we're really focusing in on is fear. I wanted to do the right thing. I did the right thing. Every action after that told me I did not do the right thing. I still felt really good because I thought I was really doing the right thing. So to me, I still felt, even though they were telling me, "You're causing all this trouble, you're brand new here, you're going to learn." you're going to see where those things are not a really big issue. It's not that big of a deal, To me, it was, because when somebody says it's important, I like to think it's important, but in this case, it wasn't. So let's go ahead and wrap up, because at this point I'm just kind of rambling on. But when you think about the message that we send when people report these hazards, or are they not reporting hazards? So is there fear? Is there somehow they want to do a good job, but they're told you keep your head down, you keep your mouth shut, you just work and work and work. So let's kind of think about the actions that we send. And I know as safety folks, we're not sending these actions, but we interact with supervisors, we interact with people, actually walk the floor, ask people and say, so what happens when you do report a near miss? You know? So I thought one time I did a awesome job of explaining the system, explaining things. And then when I went back and I talked to somebody, they basically said, well, yeah, I just do a form. I said, but, we talked about we're going to do follow-up and we're going to do, and he was like, oh, that's right. So sometimes we have to kind of think about the message that we're getting across and make sure that we're communicating a clear message. What this person took away from it is write it down on a form and turn it in. And that was it. Was a step, because it was prior to the computer days, so you have a hard time kind of tracking stuff and all that. That person did not take away all the other steps that we were doing too. So at times we want to go back and almost kind of quiz the workforce, like do you really understand the process, out there? So with that, let's go ahead there and wrap up. I want to thank everybody. My name is Dr. David Ayers. Thank you and have a safe day.